Now, either through school or your parents buying you something when you were young, there's a high chance that you've heard of edutainment, a product that tries to combine educational learning with video games. Now, unfortunately, not all of them work very well, but I have heard of some really good ones. I constantly hear high praise for the Putt-Putt series, for example. I didn't have the fortune of growing up with Putt-Putt, instead I played Zoombinis. Specifically, the Logical Journey of the Zoombinis, mainly because I only just recently found out the series is a trilogy, but sadly I grew up only playing the first. Looks like this one covers logic and maths. I mean, I considered myself good at math. I wonder what this covers. Logic, patterns, problem solving, algebra. No! Anything but that! I'm sure it's not that bad. This is made for 8-year-olds after all, right? Well, first, before the game begins, we need to create our team of Zoombinis, using the wide selection of choices you see here. Or you could be completely lazy like me and just hit the button that randomizes all the options. And then they're off, toward adventure. But before we continue, I just want to address, for people who have played the game before, that I'm actually using the Steam re-release version of Zoombinis, which is why the graphics look a lot more updated. I don't even know if my original disc would run, if I even knew where it was. See? This is just the empty box. It's a ruse! I'm a sham! Our story begins long ago, where Zoombinis were hard-working members of society. When all of a sudden...
Hey, what's up, losers? We're the bloats. We're gonna lock you behind bars and make you work forever.
And the Zoombinis are like,
Hey, you know what? That doesn't sound too bad. I mean, sure, why not?
Nah, you definitely fucked up there. And their mission now is to travel across the map from their old home to a brand new home,
with blackjack and hookers,
solving a bunch of puzzles on the way. I question if this place is good enough to warrant the hassle. Well, let's get started then. Your first obstacle is the Allergic cliffs. One of these guys is allergic to a feature of a Zoombini. The other one isn't. As you try things, chances are you'll pick up a pattern. Maybe feet? No. Every wrong answer is a punishment, and if you get them all wrong, you leave your other Zoombinis behind. And to speed things up, let's just assume all the puzzles have a punishment like this. And honestly, you're probably gonna see them with the 4 levels of difficulty the game has to offer. The Allergic cliffs don't really change that much other than being allergic to different things, and sometimes multiple things. So again, it's just trying to figure out what works and moving on from there. To your next obstacle, the Stone Cold Caves. So these 4 aren't gonna let any old Zoombinis through. Think of them as the bouncers of the cave system.
Excuse me, sir, do you have any ID? No? No entry then, fuck off.
I'm sure there's a reason why they don't let you in, but sometimes I just can't figure it out. But there are some things you can learn from how they react, and this kind of applies for all difficulty modes as well. Simply, if one person doesn't let you through on one path, they're not gonna let you in on the other side. Now apply that logic to all 4 of them, and you easily start to realize where you can and can't send a Zoombini. And then it's just a case of slowly figuring out where to put them. And apparently you can lose this one, but I don't think I ever have. The next puzzle is probably the most memorable puzzle of the game, at least to me, and it's all because of one line.
Make me a pizza!
Oh, I mean, sure, if you want. Okay, hang on a second. I mean, I hope that's what you wanted. So this guy wants the perfect pizza, and honestly, I can relate to that. The idea is weeding out the choices you have available to find out what he likes and doesn't like. The stuff he likes, he throws to the back. The stuff he doesn't like, he throws in the pit. Using this information, you do a combination to make his perfect pizza. The higher difficulty levels add more ingredients and more people to satisfy, and on the hardest difficulty adds already disliked combinations, meaning you have to use those to figure out what they like because you aren't given enough tries to try everything. But really, this is the only time this puzzle gets challenging. And then you have a break room. If you haven't been able to continue with all of your Zoombinis, you can store the small amount that you've rescued up to this point to then meet some others in another run. 1 and continue on from there with a full party. The journey can then split into 2 paths, the upper path and the lower path, both offering very different puzzles. So you may be wondering, well, what's with the foreshadowing? This doesn't seem that bad. Give it time, the game has yet begun to fight. Welcome to Captain Cajun's ferryboat, a boat that if you don't have something in common with the person you're sitting next to, you can't sit there, because I say so. It's basically a matching game. You have to put a Zoombini with a certain feature next to a Zoombini with the same feature. It doesn't matter what feature, as long as they have something in common. So in the end, you'll have quite a nice lineup. Now when this really starts to get challenging is the later difficulty levels, where you have to match 3 Zoombinis, 4 Zoombinis, and 6 Zoombinis. Now you might be asking, why not make everyone look the same? Well, that's because the game doesn't allow that, probably because it would be too easy to break puzzles. It does become quite tricky, and this is the first puzzle I couldn't beat. It's far from the last one though. Next up is the Titanic Tattooed Toads. And although your first reaction to seeing this might be, it's really not that bad. It's about going from left to right using what the toads have printed on their back. So this blue toad will follow all of the dark blue icons on the lily pads. You can also match the shapes with either the shape of the lily pad or the item on top of the lily pad. This is one of the easier puzzles in the game, it just takes a bit of time for the frogs to get moving. Harder difficulties allow you to switch 2 lily pads around in case a path is incomplete, as well as adding little crab-like things to get in the way and just be a general annoyance. You fail this one by putting a frog on the wrong path and it getting stuck.
Forever.
The next puzzle is Stone Rise. So you have to match 2 Zoombinis together using a certain feature that's displayed in the middle of these things. At its core, quite simple, but of course, as you know, later difficulties prove to be a little harder. The things you have to match become more varied and connected with each other, to the point where they become loops that you need to connect to. And then the last difficulty, well, what? I mean, I did it, somehow. It just took a long time. And then we get another break room. Man, doing all these puzzles takes it out of you, but there is another path we haven't been on yet. So next up is Fleens. This puzzle requires you to figure out what features of a Zoombini and Fleen match. As an example, any Zoombini with that hair, a Fleen will have that hat. So you have to keep matching Fleens to get them to jump off the branch with the beehive. And once all 3 are off, the bees go on a rampage, scaring the Fleens off, and you move on. Of course, later difficulties just have to throw a wrench in the works. Now, a Zoombini with that hair could mean, it could be matching any other part of the Fleen, and you just have to figure it out. The trickiest part is if you want to lose no Zoombinis, you have to nail it within 6 tries. It's pretty tough, and it is just downright confusing. Welcome to Hotel Diamond Sea.
Help yourself to a room.
You know what? I'll do that, sure. That is, if I knew what I was doing. I honestly can't figure this one out. I've even had it explained to me, and it feels like Zoombini Sudoku. And I mean, this one you can kind of just work out by guessing, but all I need to show you is the last difficulty. What do I even do? Where do I start? What is this? I feel like I've been lied to. Next up is Mudball Wall. So we have a 5x5 grid. The row determines shape and the column determines color. After a bit of poking around, it'll be pretty easy to figure out where to put the next one. And you need to hit the squares with the dots to launch your Zoombinis up on the platform. Do be careful though, as you have a limited supply of mud. Higher difficulties really mess with you on this one. Putting colors above the last but 2 spaces back? Harder difficulties add an extra element where you can color the shape. Though surprisingly, this isn't that bad. But when it really gets mindfucky is the last difficulty, where like colors in rows move per section and there's more things to worry about, I don't know. So now both paths are done, we're on the final section. We start with the lion's lair. It starts off pretty easy. You get 4 guesses to put these guys in the right order.
Gee, I wonder what it could be. If only I had something to give me a hint.
Oh wow, I did it. I never expected to do that. On hard mode, they change it up by changing what you need to categorize by. But on very hard, you have to do sets of groups and subgroups in the correct order. That's when things start to get a bit confusing though. And on very hard, you get nothing. Just guess, have fun. Next up is Mirror Machine. The first difficulty is extremely easy, you're just matching the left to the right. Where this puzzle really challenges you is in the last 2 difficulties, where it changes up the mechanics. Hard mode already changes it so that there are certain modification cards getting in the way that change the way your Zoombini looks. The difficulty after that goes one step further, giving you predetermined Zoombinis and cards, but this time allowing you to change the modifications. And then the last difficulty just says, hey, guess what? Now you have to be ready for it to still match when the card on the right flips around. Good fucking luck. I'm honestly surprised I got some right, because it is quite tricky and quite time consuming. And here we are, the final puzzle. Bubble Wonder Abyss. Ah, yes. Okay. Yeah. Looks complicated? Maybe. Some people get it right away, others need a little bit of explanation, but the idea is you are creating bubbles for your Zoombinis to cross safely. The bubbles will follow the path of the arrows, and if a Zoombini has a certain feature and hits an arrow of that feature, it will react. Certain arrows will switch when being used once, other areas of the map will suck you into the abyss and make you lose a Zoombini. Do be aware you can collide mid-route and lose 2 at the same time. It's not fun. You know what else isn't fun? Whatever this is. They add things like switches to change other arrows, a second platform you can land on, places Zoombinis get stuck and need to be bumped out of. What is happening here? For 8-year-olds! But we did it, lads. Zoombiniville! We worked so hard to get here. We've done so many puzzles. What does our new home have for us? Oh, it's a house and some fireworks. Yay. Don't get me wrong, this was all about the journey, about the fun of solving the puzzles. And honestly, this was just a great chance for me to be able to play the game again. I have a lot of good memories playing this back in primary school. I think it was about year 4, and we used to have a row of computers outside in the hall, and Zoombinis was installed on all of them. I specifically remember a lot of people having trouble with the pizza puzzle. So honestly, going through this game again was very nostalgic for me. And of course, I'd love to hear if you guys have had a similar experience with an edutainment game, but those were my memories of Zoombinis. Come to think of it, I wonder how many times I said Zoombinis in this video. Probably a lot. Hey guys, thank you for watching Pixelated Memories. Special shout out to my Patreon supporters as well for being oh so generous. Seriously, thank you very much. If you enjoyed the episode today, please give the video a like and subscribe to be informed of new videos. If you want more to watch, we have a video on 5 scary things that aren't scary, or you can join me going through some Mario bootlegs. But until next time, goodbye.